Ta-da! All right. So, what do we call this show? The Adventures on the Spectrum. That's right.
Yeah, Adventures on the Spectrum. Next episode.
Okay. So we basically just talk about nothing particular because this is like a podcast. So you just talk about whatever you want, right?
Yes.
And it's just our adventures, just random stuff that we found interesting, and then we come here to talk about. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
We have a few other channels that we have lost the passwords for, YouTube channels. So over the past 8 years or so, if anyone like sees those, I'll kind of see like what we talk about. We like talking about like truth and like spiritual stuff and like
Adventures.
oneness type stuff and adventures. Okay, cool. All right, moving on. Well, so how's the day been going so far?
Pretty good. Trying it's like this we try to develop routines and schedules for ourselves so it's like we don't miss things or mess things up. So like I changed my schedule a little bit to kind of like adapt to kids and whatnot and just getting my studying and stuff done. So that's been a relatively new change for us.
Getting up at the 4 a.m. thingy to get
Yeah,
your schoolwork done, and
4 or 5 to get schoolwork done.
then the day starts pretty much as soon as everyone else gets up, which is usually around like 7 or 8, between 7 and 8.
Yeah,
I used to do the morning chores of feeding animals and letting animals out and all that kind of stuff and doing the laundry stuff and whatnot. But it doesn't work as well when you have a nursing baby. I mean, it works still, but it's a little more because if I get up, then she wants to get up basically. So that
yeah.
messes. I feel like that messes up the whole morning after that.
And she's usually pretty grumpy if it starts the day like that too.
Yeah. So what else? What's new been going on?
Uh, well, we're trying to understand more about who we are as people. Like I think I went a little overboard on like explaining things to neurotypical and like uh without realizing it. And you were trying to even give me cues of like to stop, but I was talking too excitedly about like my situation and trying to understand and like really under getting an idea and like trying to share it with people, but that sometimes comes off the wrong way. And
Basically, we're not sure if we offended our friends or
yeah,
not. Because like you were explaining, like we told them because we recently found out. Okay, I think we're in the like range of the autism stuff or whatever. And so we were explaining our viewpoints on it and stuff, and like and then you were talking about rational thinking and logical thinking, and like normal people don't think logically, but I was like, no, stop,
yeah.
stop. But I don't know. We'll see. If they don't talk to us anymore, then it's probably your fault.
Yeah, I'll accept responsibility for that.
Well, it's like the story of our life, though. I feel like we don't really make friends very well or easily, it seems like. And then when we do kind of make friends with people, they're either like too far away to actually maintain a real friendship. I don't know why that ever happens. And then, because we move around a lot, I think is what the problem ends up being.
Yeah,
We have moved around a lot in the past, but then like, and then recently, it's more just like we're just a little awkward, but maybe only we think we're awkward.
that could be.
Maybe other people, because we've always thought we were weird and awkward, but now we're like, oh, it's because of this that we're weird and awkward. Basically, all right, what substance can we talk about today?
Well, this is substance because it's talking about like friendships and stuff like that. And I think one of the big ones that you were talking about is like a lot of the issue comes with distance, mostly not just that we're weird. I would say it's like distance. I think is something that happens
I think it
a
is though that
lot.
we're a little bit weird because, like, I feel like when we start getting past the kind of getting to know people, it's almost like they start doing this weird thing that I am a little bit uncomfortable with. Like, I don't know, I'm not into the whole like I don't know. First of all, I feel like I guess when someone comes up to you and wants to be friends with you, maybe it's a natural thing to be like, "What do you want from me?" Now I feel like I would do that actually if I met someone who like they wanted to be friends. Actually, I don't know if I would or not though. It's like people are suspicious first of all, and they're really suspicious when you're not
Trying to get something.
get something. It's almost like I feel like this from people that most of the people we've come in contact, it's like, what are you trying to get from? What do you want from me? Kind of like an undertone.
Mm.
They don't actually come out and say it, and so that's weird to me. Because I'm like, well, we don't want anything from you. It's just and it's mostly people who have like the same general interest of us. So if I say we want something from them, it'd be like we want to form community, we want to be friends, and we want to. You guys like to slaughter your own chickens? We do. Let's trade or do like get together and slaughter chickens or trade eggs. Like when you have eggs and we don't, we can trade. Or if we have eggs and you don't, then we give ours to you. Kind of like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe people think that's too weird.
I think a lot of people do think that's a little bit on the weird side. Even
But
if they're
people
like,
used to do this stuff
yeah,
though, didn't they?
they had like trading posts and stuff like that. But a lot of times, I think a lot of the people used to just kind of look out for their families mostly, and
Well,
not.
people, I feel like in some areas, that people thought of their people as their extended family in some areas. At least that's what I felt like.
But they might have actually just been extended families.
Yeah, but we still are pretty much extended family, so we have to because we're all like humans,
Ah,
right? In some way, we're extended family.
so wait, are we like brother and sister
Oh
then?
my gosh, stop,
Oh,
please.
okay, okay.
But
But
everyone's related in some way.
yeah.
So I don't know. That might be just over. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like what you're saying too is like people do get suspicious. Like you can tell, like people do get suspicious when you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're like, "So, what do you want? What do you?" It's like, and then we literally just want to like become friends and like talk and interact and maybe find ways to share things.
Share interests,
Yeah, it's like
hobbies,
we're not trying to
resources.
get anything, and people think that's a little bit weird. Like they're like, okay, but it's like, well, what can I get from you? So because that's what these at the typical questions start to come up, like, what do you do for work? How much money do you have? Like, where do you live? What kind of house is it? It's like we're like, well, none of that stuff really matters, but people always get a little bit like, um, don't come to my
Well, I
house
don't
because
know.
it's
It's
not
weird because
so built up, So like,
I'm like I'm trying to just understand, like, because I always try to put myself in other people's shoes. I'm like, would I be like that? That's not the first question that comes to mind for me. I mean, eventually, if I had made a friend, I just want to know what they do because, like, I want to know like what their day is like and like what they do,
yeah,
and just like what they enjoy and like I don't know, what are their expertise in what's their expertise in kind of
yeah,
thing. But I don't know. And then like the house thing, that's a weird thing. I feel like people do a lot, like compare like your house and stuff. Like
yes, that gets old so fast.
I don't know. Let's see here.
But yeah,
A quick pause here. We got some background noise. 1 second. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's weird or interesting, but whatever.
yeah. We're just trying to figure the whole friendship thing out. It's like we can probably make it into a bigger deal than it really is. So we like try to break it down into components and try to understand the different pieces, but it's like it's probably not that much to it.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Any other thoughts on anything?
uh, the kiddo entering the room kind of like threw the my thought off place a little bit. What about you?
Me too. We need
Um,
to regroup here.
yes. Well, but about the whole trading and stuff like that, it's like I know there's people that are like good Christians and whatever like that don't mind giving people stuff. But it's like we actually like see it as like that as good people, as good humans. Like if you have something and someone else could use it, give it to them. And if they have something that they feel like,
Well, no, but they don't have to just give it to them. Like you feel like give it for whatever it's worth, like share or whatever. But don't feel like you need to deplete yourself. Like don't
oh
give it
yeah,
if you are feeling like you're depleted. Like do what you feel. Oh, here's what I feel like. Okay, that's what you said. Sorry. What I think is that people should do what they feel like they want to do. Basically,
yeah,
I don't think people need to step out of there like okay, but here's my future for like here's what I feel like humanity needs to go in the direction of like sustainable communities kind of thing where people share, grow their own food, share, trade with each other, and live off the land. That's like my far vision for us and for most of humanity that wants to go there too, I guess. But people shouldn't do that if it's out of their restriction of their like what they want to do, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't think that if someone has something and they want to give it to someone or not even give it, what did you say?
Well, it's like if you have something that someone else can use and you're not really using it, either trade it or give it to them.
Okay, so and I would just say that I don't think people need to do that unless they want to give it away or
Yeah.
sell it or whatever they want to do with it. Because I'm not gonna I feel like people's boundaries, I mean, of what they you know what I mean? I don't want to like, well, you have that and that person could use it. Why don't you just give it to them?
I
I would
see.
say that if it were me, I would just give it because that's just how I would do things. Like if they really want it and I didn't need it, then I would just give it to them. But I don't think someone else needs to do that because that's whatever they do, whatever they want to do, basically.
I hear you. That makes sense. Because it's like putting people in awkward positions sometimes. So people are very possessive over their things too.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's a boring day, I feel like.
You think it's a
I feel like I
boring?
had so much stuff to talk about now. I feel like every time we come to sit down and do a podcast thing, it's like not even that interesting because like we're like, okay, now what?
Well,
I think we need to get topics together.
topics, but also one of the things too is like we have to get our rhythm going again. Because like if you look at some of our other videos, like they start off kind of like, but then we get the swing of things again, and then the communication and the idea comes about a little bit better. But still, uh, boring sometimes is good, and I think that is an acceptable place to be sometimes. It's like everything can't just be like super interesting all the time because then you get used to that and then nothing's interesting unless it's like something in your face or like amazing at that given moment.
So we're getting ducks now in the fall season. We're getting ducks because we realize that chickens kind of suck at egg laying and they get annoyed like at every little thing.
Yes.
And so they stop laying eggs. And we like a more consistent egg supply. So we're getting ducks. We're getting a breed of duck that lays pretty well. And then we're also getting a meat breed because chickens are also good for meat, but they're not that great for meat. So we're getting a duck.
Yes.
And so this is gonna be interesting. We're gonna get them over the next week or so. And I don't I wish we had decided earlier that we were actually going to get ducks and just done it earlier because now we're heading into the fall season. It's gonna start cooling down. And I know they'll do fine and everything, but like I feel like it would have been better to raise them over the summer, but it's cool. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I guess anyone who like is into starting your own like little farm. Actually, we'll see because we don't know. People say ducks are better for eggs. I know they're a little bit better for meat as far as comparing to chickens. We have turkeys and geese right now that we got in the spring, and as far as like their attitudes, they're way better than dealing with chickens. Chickens have like attitude problems all the time. They don't listen. They're nutballs. So if anyone's trying to start up like your own like sustainable bird eating situation or egg eating situation. I don't know, ducks might be the way to go. We'll see with our ducks, but definitely as far as like if you want meat, we have geese and turkeys, and I besides the egg part, I would have gone with them instead of chickens if I had known that they were so calm and like just like calm and collected. Chickens are just nutty, and I'm kind of done dealing with them. We like our chickens, of course, but I think we're gonna skim them down to. We have like 35 of them right now. We had a few harvests over the year. I think we're gonna do another harvest at the end of the year and get them down to about 10 to 15 and we'll kind of keep it there. So yeah.
It also takes longer to grow. Like these ducks, they get to full grown pretty quickly.
What, but it's like still like what, 12 weeks they said?
Yeah,
10 to 12, like
it's
12
like
weeks.
3 months, but it's like still like, but they're also gonna be like way bigger than these chickens too. So multi-purpose, they lay eggs. And well, that's the other thing too is like we like more like natural feeding. Like we don't want to be giving these animals constantly just like tons of feed because we have all this property. It's like we want them to free range, and chickens
They will.
they will, but they want to go way beyond your bound. Like they'll just go wherever they want. I know ducks and stuff like that can too,
I
but
feel like they wouldn't, at least our geese and turkeys, they don't try as hard to like jump the fence and like run across the road.
yeah,
They don't do that as much as like chickens do. And we don't really mind, but like they do, if they go far enough, something will eat them.
which has happened.
Which has happened. Um, so trying to just keep them contained more, I think it'd be easier to do with ducks. Um, and oh yeah, the free ranging thing. So far our geese and our turkeys, yeah, they're way better about eating just grass and bugs that they find, and they will actually eat. They will fill up on free ranging, and we prefer that because we want them to eat more of their like natural diet and not have to. We feed them, or we find organic as much as we can, organic grain and stuff to feed them.
Yeah.
But we don't want to have to just that their grain should not be their main food supply, I feel like.
Yes, exactly. Because it's like that. Because then again, when even if it just comes down to like the basic idea, it's like the costs for like your eggs and your meat goes way, way, way up if you're feeding them all the time instead of them free ranging. So it's like, what's the point then?
Yeah.
Like, because some of this feed, especially when you're like trying to keep it organic, can be pretty pricey. And then you think about like how long you're raising these birds on to lay eggs. You're like, wait, so my eggs are incredibly expensive.
Yeah, right. So yeah, we're making that change. We'll see how that goes. I think it's gonna go really well. And that's something to think about if anyone out there is looking to get a bird farm started. Go with, yeah, I guess the most practical, at least like what it's sounding like for us, is like bigger birds and also something that will lay eggs more consistently and something that is more free ranging sustainably, like sustains itself on free ranging.
Yes.
And
It's like
that so far sounds like either duck, turkey. Well, turkeys don't lay eggs constantly, but duck. There we go.
yeah, because that's the thing is like too, like we look for multi-purpose things, and we're like a chicken, eggs and meat, which is good. The duck has an added layer of fat, which you can render down and use for cooking and stuff too. Yeah, we're almost done. So it's like it's just another addition. So it's like yeah, the eggs will probably taste different. That's what everyone says, but it's like eggs, meat, and fat for other things.
Yeah, that you can use for cooking and stuff.
So,
and the meat's different too. It's like
yeah.
it cooks. I hear it's easier to. You said it's
Yeah,
easier
it's
to cook
easier
with.
to cook. It has a lot more versatility, and like you can even do like a duck roast. But it's like roasting a chicken. It's like you gotta be kind of
Good luck.
careful with it, and it might dry out really easy. Like the ducks have like a lot more fat on them, so it's like to overcook them, it is harder to do. You can do like an overnight roast and like in the crock pot kind of thing, and it's still fine. But you do that with a chicken, it's like it could be good or it could be bad.
Well, most of the time it's not bad for chicken.
Yeah.
If I put enough water in there.
Yeah.
But to overnight roast in the crock pot sort of thing. But anyway. All right. So yeah, that's
It's an interesting topic to end with. And
well, that's cool because like yeah, we've pretty much set it up to where any meat that we eat. That sounds weird because the words rhyme, but any meat that we eat, we
it's
get
a treat.
it is a treat, right? We get it from the farm that's down south of us that feeds only organic stuff, and they are very humane with their animals, and they butcher humanely and all that jazz. That's where we get like only if for now we've kind of gotten to where we just use them for red meat. Fish, we get we can
Costco at the
find
moment.
we can find wild caught, or there's a place around the road that goes and catches shrimp from the Gulf, and we'll eat that every once in a while. But yes, pretty much our bird supply of meat, we get it from ourselves.
Mhm.
And I'm very proud of ourselves for that. and we have sheep that we will, when we get to that stage, that'll be our main red meat supply. Because why? Because apparently the human body needs meat to be healthy at the moment. So we're doing that, yes. That's a whole nother topic. But anyways, anything else? I want to talk about polyamory and stuff, but maybe we'll do that next time.
Yeah, we'll write that down. So we'll be like, that's the topic of the day.
The topic of the day, because we watched sorry, I'll just we
intro.
watched a video on YouTube of a couple who was polyamorous and a monogamous couple, married couple. I don't know if I should say who they were because I don't know if we're gonna say super nice stuff. I mean, I don't want to, because if something slips that it doesn't sound very nice, I don't want people to be like, they were, this is who we were talking about. I don't want like, okay, what am I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm just
you don't want it to come back to you. So
not back to me. I don't want to go back to them. Like I don't want people thinking bad thoughts about these people just because of something I said.
Well, people don't listen to us anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, yeah. So maybe that's what we'll talk about next time. Anyways, I think it's that.
Yeah, it's a good way to end it. So we know what we're going for later.
Okay. Sounds
all right, everybody. See you next time.
Excellent.